For the women standing up to the cartels in Mexico, the dead swung in the air like torn flags. Papel picado, streamers of flesh hung from the bridge, decorated with violence. Their intestines spilt on the streets, blood on the windshields of cars, because they had the guts to tell their hearts were cut out. A warning from the cartels to any would-be saviors: we own the harvest. This is our country. Your intrusion will be met with violence. This is our business. Their victims' heads line the borders, torn from bodies by men with machetes. The men who stood against them, all dead or in hiding. The women are standing up now, fighting to reclaim Mexico from the terrorists in their kitchens. Marisol Valles, a 22-year-old student, became police chief in Juarez when no man would stand to be fit with the shield. Hermia Garcia, 38, swore the oath in Chihuahua, Mexico. Refusing to live with the fear in her belly, she chose to fight. For the dark, adobe-eyed children, for the gold blood of flowers, hoping to show her people how the sun stood in the sky, refusing to yield to passing thunder. Veronica Rios Ontiveros and others, housewives sworn to protect and serve when the men in their village refused the job. These women left classrooms and kitchens, became soldiers, officers of law, found something worth preserving in the eyes of their children, a culture of witness to generations of murder. Thin wailing hearts in the gardens of widows, they fought for la gente. Died or were driven by demons when the cartels threatened their kin. They lost, but they fought. America, we just watched. We tell ourselves the people of Mexico are used to the blood. Sangre blessed by saviors or headless bodies on bridges. We are still waiting for women to clean up our messes. These women bent themselves over the bodies of children to protect them. Ontiveros swore, we can do the job as well as any man. Before this war is over, there will be blood. Stories will be told of the proud women of Mexico whose courage made them tall. The sweet sugar poppies may scent our skin with the perfume of death, but Mexico will live. We swear this in the names of our village, our people, and our children. We will never get used to the blood. Clint Eastwood taught me how to set my jaw on Saturday mornings. But it was Bill Bixby who taught me to walk. Dr. David Banner to me. He was only an actor playing the man to Ferrigno's Incredible Hulk, but even with the cheap makeup and contact lenses, he wore two faces better than any one man should be able to. It wasn't always easy to tell which one was the hero, the man or the beast. But Saturday mornings he made the world outside sound like static and fiction, setting his face against the sun. With the jacket slung low over his shoulder, he tread blacktop with a body language that told you in no uncertain terms that this was a man in exile to his anger. But man, he made lonely look cool. So I practiced his moves. When neighborhood kids in tree houses turned me away, I made my shy silence surround me. Threw a jacket over my shoulder, even when I didn't have one, and practiced my leaving. One thing about silence, it gives you plenty of time to count your steps. So I always knew exactly how much space there was between them and me. Is it weird to have these Hollywood heroes? Fictional father figures? I don't know. But these were all the heroes I had. So the idea of shouldering exile down the road in a desperate search for a higher degree of manhood was easy to relate to. I spent countless evenings wandering empty streets, imagining my shadows growing behind me, a raging spirit waiting to be unleashed. I wanted my hands to grow like his. At that age, it would have made them about the size of a man's. But it wasn't always the man I wanted to be. There were times I wanted to scream like a wounded beast. When I realized that his televised exile was scripted, the loneliness for a child weighed more than all of the steel traps they ever laid over him. I wondered if I would ever overcome the silence that made me so shy. See, every hero is born in battle, and I never lost a fight. Even at age 9, when a drunken biker who called himself Thor came home with my mother. He held me by the ankles over the balcony because he thought the sound children made when they were screaming was funny. A half hour later, in a six-pack drunker, he lifted the refrigerator off the floor in a feat of strength I still haven't seen equaled. But he was trying to throw it at my mother, and I got angry. I stood in front of him with fists clenched so tight they could have squeezed the light from the room. And I swear I felt my shadow stand up behind me, creating the impression of greater size. So when I looked him in the eyes and said, "It's time for you to leave," he did. And it made me believe. I still get lonely on Saturday mornings, and sometimes I feel the need to leave whatever I'm doing, but don't be surprised. I've got a secret identity, and that makes me a hero because, damn it, I still believe. I still believe.